Good morning, students. Once again, welcome back to English class. As we were in the lesson number 3 from Snapshot, Ranga's Marriage, we have completed these lessons. Let's do the recap once again of the summary. Then we will go through the question answers of this lesson. So, Ranga's Marriage is the story. Ranga's Marriage is located in Hosahalli village in the former Mysore state, now a part of Karnataka. 10 years ago, the village didn't have many people who knew English. The village accountant's son, Ranga, was the first one to be sent to Bangalore to study. A decade ago, the use of English language was not widespread in the narrator's village. That is why Ranga's homecoming was a great event. People rushed to his doorstep announcing that Ranga, who had gone to Bangalore for his studies, had come back. They flocked together to have a look. The narrator too went and stood in the courtyard. Seeing so many people there, Ranga came out with a smile on his face. Everybody was surprised to see that Ranga was the same as he had been 6 months ago. When he had first left the village, once they realized that Ranga was unchanged physically, the crowd people slowly disappeared. Only the narrator, Shyam, continued to stand there. After everyone had gone, the narrator asked Rangappa how he was. Ranga noticed him, came near him and greeted him respectfully. Ranga was a worldly wise young man. He knew when it would be to his advantage to talk to someone. He rightly assessed people's worth. The narrator was resting in the afternoon when Ranga came to his house with a couple of oranges in his hand. The narrator regarded him a generous, considerate fellow. He thought it would be a fine thing to have him marry, settle down, and be of service to the society. He asked Rangappa when he planned to get married. Ranga replied that he was not going to marry just then. He needed to find the right girl. She should be mature enough. Secondly, he wanted to marry a girl he admired. He was not in favor of the arranged marriages prevalent in society. If he could not get a girl of his choice, he would prefer to remain a bachelor. The narrator felt distressed at Ranga's decision to remain a bachelor. Ranga felt after chatting for some time, the narrator made up his mind that he would get Ranga married. He thought that Rama Rao's niece Ratna, a pretty girl of 11, would be the most suitable bride for him. She was from a very big town and knew how to play the veena and the harmonium. She also had a sweet voice. The next morning, the narrator went to Rama's house to fetch some buttermilk from his house. When Ratna came, he requested her to sing a song. On this Friday, she was wearing a grand sari. The narrator had sent for Ranga too. While she was singing a song, Ranga reached the door. He was curious to see the singer and peeped in. The light came in the room was blocked. Seeing a stranger there, Ranga stopped abruptly. She stood at a distance, her head lowered. Ranga repeatedly glanced at her. He said that his arrival had made her stop singing and offered to leave. But he didn't leave. Ratna, overcome by shyness, ran inside. Ranga asked the narrator who that girl was. He also expressed the hope that she was not married. The narrator noticed his excitement and said she was married a year ago. The narrator noticed signs of disappointment on Ranga's face. Ranga left after some time. The next morning, the narrator went to the astrologer, Shastriji, and told him to keep everything ready to read the stars. He tutored the astrologer in all that he wanted him to say. Then he escorted Ranga to the Shastri's house. Shastriji praised astrology as an ancient science. He asked Ranga's star. Ranga didn't know. After making some calculations, Shastriji said that Ranga was thinking about a girl. To the narrator's question as to what that girl was, the Shastri said that she had the name of something found in the ocean: Kamla, Pachi, Moss, Pearl or Ratna, the precious stone. The narrator remembered that the name of the girl in Ramarao's house was Ratna. He asked if there was any chance of their negotiation bearing fruit. Shastri gave a positive response. There was surprise on Ranga's face and some happiness as well. The narrator observed that the girl was married. He noticed that Ranga's face had fallen. On the way, they passed by Ramarao's house. Ratna was standing alone at the door. The narrator went in alone. He came out in a minute and gave the news that the girl wasn't married. He remarked that whatever Shastri told him, he had turned to be true. He asked Ranga if he had been thinking of her. Ranga admitted it. So Ranga was married to Ratna. Years later, Rangappa invited narrator for the dinner on the occasion of 3-year-old son Shyam's birthday. He had named his son after the narrator and put his arms around the narrator's legs. The narrator kissed him on his cheek and placed a ring on his tiny little finger. The narrator also revealed that Ranga's wife was 8 months pregnant then. Thus, Ranga was leading a happy married life with Ratna. So children, this was the summary of this lesson, Ranga's marriage. So now let's go through the question answers of this lesson, which is given in your textbook. So here the first question. Comment on the influence of English, the language and the way of life on Indian life as reflected in the story. What is the narrator's attitude to English? You can write the answer in this way. The story talks about the influence English language had decades ago in his village. Not many people in the village at that time could understand or talk in English. Only a few courageous people would send their children to study in cities like the village accountant sent Ranga to Bangalore. When Ranga came back to the village, everyone was keen on seeing how their culture had transformed him. As far as cultural influence is concerned, the story mentions how Ranga wanted to marry a girl who was mature, someone who understands him and is compatible with him. This is completely in opposition to the arranged marriage that were widely prevalent in those times. The narrator finds it disgraceful when people mix Kannada language with English. He recounts how one day a lady delivered firewood to Ramarao's place and he told her to come the next morning because he had no change. The lady did not know what change meant and left while muttering to herself. The narrator confesses that he too did not know what it meant until he asked Ramarao. Second question. Astrologers' perceptions are based more on hearsay and conjecture than what they learn from the study of the stars. Comment with reference to the story. So, answer goes here. The story throws light upon how Shastri predicted what was going on in Ranga's mind. He did it using 2 sheets of paper, some cowries and a book of palmyra leaves in the form of his paraphernalia. He even revealed that Ranga has some girl on his mind whose name related to something that belonged to the ocean. All this made Ranga believe in the power of astrology. While in reality, it was our narrator Shyam who had tutored Shastri to say so in a meeting prior to the one with Ranga. Shastri made it seem like no big deal when Ranga left and Shyam called it his marvelous Shastra. He said he could have guessed it with his numbers even if Shyam had not staged it for him. Hence, the story portrays astrologers' perceptions to be based more on hearsay and conjecture than what they learn from the stars. Here's the third question. Indian society has moved a long way from the way that a marriage is arranged in the story discussed. I repeat, Indian society has moved a long way from the way the marriage is arranged in the story discussed. Answer. It is true that Indian society has moved a long way from the way the marriage is arranged in the story. Earlier, there was no concept of love marriage and only arranged marriages took place like the one being talked about in the story. Ranga's marriage was arranged by his uncle Shyam. In present times, the bride and the groom have a say in the matter, unlike decades ago, where even their consent was not considered important. Our society has come a long way since then, especially when it comes to the rights of females. Earlier, the bride's families were pressurized into paying dowry, which has been illegalized now. It is also against the law to marry individuals who have not attained a specific age 18 in case of girls and 21 in case of boys. Next question, fourth one. What kind of person do you think the narrator is? So, you can write the answer in this way. The narrator is a man of his land as he introduced his village with such enthusiasm that every reader would want to visit it at least once. His hospitality can also be appreciated as he promises to take good care of his readers. He is someone who believes in maintaining the authenticity of his culture. That is why he thinks it's a good disgrace to mix Kannada with English. He is a man with good judgment of character. He knew what type of man Ranga was and that Ramarao's niece Ratna would be a perfect partner for him. Shyam seemed like someone who knows how to make his own way. The whole setup he staged with the village Shastri in order to get Ranga and Ratna married pose as evidence for that. He is also funny by way of which he teased the village Shastri. Although clever, he seems to be a man with best intentions at heart. So these are the questions we have discussed, which is given in your textbook. Now we will see some extra questions which can come in the examination. So short type questions, the exam point of view. This first questions. What does the narrator say about Hosahali? So first short answer type questions. The first question is, what does the narrator say about Hosahali? The answer is, Hosahali village is the scene of action. There is no mention of it in geography books written by the Sahibs in England or Indian writers. No cartographer has put it on the map. The narrator highlights its importance by comparing it to the filling of the Karigadu Dabu, a festive meal. The second question is of short question. What are the two special produce of Hosahali and in what respect? Answer. First is the raw mango. The soreness of its bite is sure to get straight to the brahmandra, that is soft part of child's head, where skull bones join to later. Second specialty is a creeper growing in the water of the village pond. Its flowers are the feast to be behold. You can serve afternoon meal to the whole family on its 2 leaves. Third question. What exactly had happened 10 years ago? How important was it then? Answer. 10 years ago, there were not many people in the village who knew English. The village accountant was the first one who sent his son Ranga to Bangalore to pursue his studies. It was quite an important event then. The narrator highlights it by saying that the village accountant was the first one who had enough courage to send his son to Bangalore to study. Fourth question. What happened when Ranga returned to his village from the city of Bangalore? Answer. Ranga's homecoming was a great event. The crowds miled around his house to see whether he had changed or not. People were quite excited as the boy was returning home after studying English at Bangalore. Everyone was surprised to see that Ranga was the same as he had been 6 months ago when he had first left the village. Question number 5. How did the old lady satisfy herself about Ranga? Answer. The old lady ran her hand over Ranga's chest. She looked into his eyes. She was satisfied to find the sacred thread on his body. She was happy that he had not lost his caste. Sixth question. What has happened is disgraceful. Believe me, says the narrator. What does he refer to? How does he illustrate his point of view? Answer. The narrator refers to the practice of young persons who during the holidays in village go on talking in English or bring in English words while talking in Kannada. He calls this mixing up of languages disgraceful. He gives the example of the use of English words changed to an illiterate person. The old lady, being asked to come to the next day, went away disgruntled. Seventh question. Why does the narrator refers to the black hole of Calcutta? Once again I am repeating the question. Why does the narrator refers to the black hole of Calcutta? Answer. During the British rule, hundreds of persons were kept inside a single room. The next morning, most of them were found dead due to the due to suffocation. The narrator uses expression black hole of Calcutta to suggest the large number of people who are turned out to see Ranga. Now question number 8. How did Ranga greet the narrator? In what respect did he differ from the present day boys? Answer. Ranga greeted the narrator with full devotion. He not only folded his hands but also bent low to touch his feet. A present day boy would stand stiff like a pole without joints, keep head towards the sun and jerk his body as if it were either a hand or walking stick. The narrator being old-fashioned and did not approve it. Question number 9. When did Ranga plan to marry and why? Answer. Ranga didn't want to get married at an early age. He wanted to find the right girl. He should be mature enough to understand his love talk. Secondly, he wished to marry a girl he admired. He was against marrying quite young girls who had no manners or were not careful for their face or figure. Now, question number 10. What example did Ranga give to explain the importance of marrying late? Ranga gave 2 examples. First one, an officer about 30 married a girl and about 25. Ranga hoped that they would be able to talk lovingly to each other. And second example is that of Dushanta falling in love with Shakuntala, who was quite mature. Now question number 11. Ranga was just the boy for her and she the most suitable bride for him, says the narrator. Who is she? What led narrator to this conclusion? Answer. She here stands for Ratna, the niece of Rama Rao. She was a pretty girl of 11. Both her parents having died, her uncle had brought her home. Being a girl from a big town, she knew how to play the veena and the harmonium. She also had a sweet voice. All these qualities made her a suitable bride for a young educator like Ranga. Question number 12. How did the narrator let Ranga have a glimpse of Ratna? The narrator arranged the meeting very systematically. First he called Ratna on the pretext of sending buttermilk through her. Then he asked her to sing a song. Meanwhile, Ranga, whom he had sent for, reached the door. He became curious to see the singer and peeped in. His presence at the door blocked the light and Ratna stopped singing abruptly. Now the 13th question. How did Ranga and Ratna react at their unexpected encounter? Answer. Ratna stopped singing abruptly on seeing a stranger outside the room. Ranga felt disappointed when the singing stopped. Ratna stopped at a distance with her head lowered. Ranga repeatedly glanced at her. He blamed himself for the singing to stop and offered to leave. Ratna was overcome by shyness and ran inside. Ranga inquired about her. Now 14th question. How did the narrator handle Ranga's enquiries about Ratna? Answer. Narrator did not give him a straightforward reply. He said casually that it did not matter to either of them who she was. The narrator was already married and Ranga was not the marrying type. This aroused Ranga's interest and excitement. He expressed the hope that she was unmarried. His face showed sign of disappointment on learning that she was married a year ago. Question number 15. Why did the narrator tell Ranga that the girl was married a year ago? Answer. Narrator had made up his mind that he would get married early. First, he brought Ranga and Ratna face to face to arouse his interest in her. In order to test the strength of his emotions, he told Ranga that she was married a year ago. The shriveled face of the young man betrayed his feeling. Now, 16th question. Why did the narrator visit the village astrologer? Answer. The narrator wanted to exploit the common human weakness, eagerness to know the future. He went to the village astrologer and told him to keep ready to read the stars. He tutored him in all that he wanted the astrologer to say when he would revisit him with Ranga. Question number 17. In what mental emotional state did the narrator find Ranga? What solution did he offer? How did Ranga react to it? Answer. Ranga seemed to be lost in thought. Perhaps he was emotionally upset to learn that the girl he had been seeing that morning was already married. Already married one. The narrator offered to take him to Shastri to learn about the stars, whether Guru and Shani were favorable for him or not. Ranga accompanied him without any protest. 18th question. What? Only this morning? Why was this sentence cut off and by whom? What would have been the likely impact if the speaker had completed the sentence? Answer. The narrator got angry when the astrologer said with surprise that he had not seen the former for a long time. Narrator shouted these words. Astrologer cut this sentence off and completed it in his own way. If he had not done so, the narrator would have ruined their plan by blurting out everything. Question number 19. What, according to the astrologer, was Ranga's cause of worry? How did the name Ratna crop up? According to the astrologer, the cause of Ranga's worry was a girl. She probably had the name of something found in the ocean. When asked if it could be Kamala, the astrologer did not rule out the possibility. When suggested it could be Apache, Mose, the astrologer put a counter question. Why not pearl or Ratna, the precious stone? Thus, the name Ratna cropped up. Now, question number 20. There was surprise on Ranga's face and some happiness. What do you think had caused these feelings? I repeat, there was a surprise on Ranga's face and some happiness. What do you think had caused these feelings? Answer. When the astrologer learned from Shastri, the astrologer, that the name of the girl Ranga was worried about could be Ratna, he was at once reminded of Ramarao's niece Ratna. He asked the astrologer if there was any chance of the marriage being fixed there. The astrologer gave a firm assurance. This caused happiness and surprise on Ranga's face. Question number 21. How did the narrator test the sincerity of Ranga's feeling about Ratna? Answer. The narrator employed the age-old trick temptation for unattainable. He first mentioned that the girl had been married a year ago. He noticed Ranga's disappointment. Ranga's face fell when the narrator mentioned to the astrologer that Ratna was married. When he was assured of the sincerity of Ranga's feeling about Ratna, he disclosed that he wasn't married. Now, moving to the question number 22. There is greater truth in that Shastra than we imagine, says Ranga. What truth does he refer to, and how was he made to admit it? Answer. After their visit to Shastri, The narrator disclosed to Ranga that Ratna was not married. He observed that whatever Sastri told him had turned out to be true. Still, he could not believe that Ranga had been thinking of her. He asked Ranga to confirm it. Ranga frankly admitted the truth that he was thinking of her. Question number 23. What did narrator tell Sastri about his performance? How did the Sastri react to it? Answer. Narrator told Sastri that he repeated everything he had told him without giving rise to any suspicion. He exclaimed, "What a marvelous Shastri yours is!" Sastri did not like this reaching astrology. He retorted that he could have found out himself from the Shastras. Question number 24. Comment on the ending of the Ranga story. Ending of the story Ranga's marriage. I repeat. Comment on the ending of the story Ranga's marriage. Answer. The story has a happy ending. Ranga has been married to Ratna and they have a 3-year-old golden boy named Sham. After their well-wisher, the narrator, Ratna is 8 months pregnant and about to deliver another baby. So that's all from now. We have discussed the question answers of these lessons. So I'll be giving you the PDF later. And until then, keep watching, keep practicing. Happy reading. Bye from me.